It happened here at this Winn-Dixie when the search for Richard Hoberlin began. He abandoned the vehicle in the parking lot and stashed the jewels in a toilet in the girls' bathroom. This spot right here marks the beginning of a path to a campsite where 4 homeless residents face swarms of mosquitoes every night. Marion County residents say even after all the rain from Tropical Storm Debbie, this sinkhole is keeping the water from Orange Lake from rising back up. After contacting local law enforcement and my personal banks, I then came here to the Social Security Administration office, where I was then told my personal account is okay and that even if I needed a new number, it wasn't possible to get one.
She'll be terrified for a while. She'll be terrified, and so will I.
A suspect may be behind bars, but the fear still remains for 2 Marion County families. Shirley Millard had her purse, $20,000 worth of jewelry, and her car stolen from her home Tuesday afternoon. Millard ran to neighbor and friend Ruth Herrera for help after the robber left.
So now I'm keeping my eye out on my window for her too, always.
Marion County deputies searched the area around the crime scene for the robber. They started speaking to neighbors and businesses as well. They learned that Richard Hoberlin had been to Millard's house weeks before the actual robbery. Hoberlin had also been arrested previously on burglary and theft charges and dealing in stolen property. Investigators say Hoberlin left in Millard's Lincoln Navigator and went to a local grocery store. It happened here at this Winn-Dixie when the search for Richard Hoberlin began. He abandoned the vehicle in the parking lot and stashed the jewels in a toilet in the girls' bathroom. Shortly after the surveillance video was released, calls flooded the sheriff's office about Hoberlin's whereabouts.
And once the video hit the media, it was probably less than 24 hours after we put the video out that he was caught.
Shirley Millard got her car and jewelry back after the arrest and is now working on getting her life back. And having a neighbor like Ruth Herrera might help her stay safe while she recovers. Liana Charles, WUFT News.
It's been quite some time ago as to where they had nice water in there, you know.
Orange Lake used to be a 13,000-acre lake. Now all that is left is a few acres.
What would really be needed to fill the lake back up would be several large rain events, or more desirably, higher rainfall over a longer period of time.
Most of the fishing camps on the lake are extinct. Sportsman's Cove Resort is one of the few that remain, but is now only an RV and mobile home park.
I started doing long-term rentals. It was the only option that I could see in order to survive.
The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation says this is the 3rd time since 1938 that the lake has dried up. The first one was in 1956, followed by one in 2000, and finally this one now. Sinkholes like the one in Hagee Berry Park have appeared on the lake bed and are causing more water to drain from the lake. Marion County residents say even after all the rain from Tropical Storm Debbie, this sinkhole is keeping the water from Orange Lake from rising back up.
Back in the 50s, there was several efforts to clog up that sinkhole by putting things like buses and cars and fluid containers in it and things of that nature.
Although rain from Tropical Storm Debbie did help raise the lake water levels, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation is seeing the levels drop again.
The main reason is that there's not enough rainfall and there's not enough water in the aquifer.
In 2002, Marion County requested a permit from the St. John's Water Management District to fill the sinkhole. The Water Management District rejected the permit for numerous reasons, including not clearly being in the public interest. Before Tropical Storm Debbie, the lake was the lowest it had been since 1955. Liana Charles, WUFT News. Social media pages are all the craze. With sites such as Twitter and Facebook, people can connect with one another and keep in contact with old friends. But what happens when connecting with your friends turns into invading your privacy? Some businesses are now asking applicants to log into their Facebook account to look around. The problem is the view on your personal page and the view on the public page is very different.
Because I don't think that your outside life should affect your work life. What you do on your own time is what you do on your own time. I don't think it should affect what you do at work.
Facebook released a statement about employers invading your privacy during an interview or after hiring. Facebook says that employers potentially expose themselves to unanticipated legal liability. The note also says that an employer may open themselves to claims of discrimination if they don't hire a person because of the content on their Facebook page. Jeffrey Hendricks, former area manager of mattress firm, was not available for an interview but told us he never asked for an applicant's Facebook information because he believes that the content on their page does not reveal whether the applicant will be a good employee. On April 9, 2012, Maryland became the first U.S. state to ban the practice of employers requesting information for an applicant's social media username and password during an interview. A man was returning to his job at the Maryland Department of Public Safety and Correctional Services after taking a leave of absence for a death in the family. Upon returning, he was asked to provide his Facebook login information so the agency could check for gang affiliations. The American Civil Liberties Union pushed for the legislation in Maryland. Catherine Crump, ACLU attorney, responded to the news saying, "You'd be appalled if your employer insisted on opening up your postal mail to see if there was anything of interest inside. It is equally out of bounds for an employer to go on a fishing expedition through a person's private social media account." Senate Bill 433 also prohibits an employer from taking or threatening to take certain disciplinary action for an employee's refusal to disclose specified password and related information.
The state of Illinois is also making legislation just like Maryland. On April 12, 2012, House Bill 3782, the Right to Social Privacy Act, was approved by the Illinois legislature.
Other states such as Minnesota, Washington State, New Jersey, and Massachusetts have shown interest in making legislation like Senate Bill 433. Liana Charles, WUFT News.